the pulse, divine sensation. Everyone needs just a little foundation. Feel the pulse, divine sensation. Everyone needs just a little salvation.
moments, it cosmic flight. Holding on to the stars of starlight. There's a light within the dark waves, guided by echoes of ancient ways. Unify our divine sensation. Everyone feels the goodness of meditation. There's a light within the dark ways, guided by echoes of ancient ways. You will find our reflection. Within me there's a connection. Feel the pulse, divine sensation.
system are treated like a toy. Ideas are misunderstood, but brilliance is his point. Benefactor boy, can't you hear his voice? Talking about 0 point, the points lost on them. Counter structures crumbling from the same old stem. They laugh like I'm crazy, but I see it all so clear. Exploited labor, unheard injustice, burning ears. Fighting for a change in this wasteland of noise. But they call me foolish, wanting shed boys. Benefactor boy, dreaming about the world he can't employ. Changing the system, but treated like a toy. Ideas misunderstood, but brilliance is his boy. Benefactor boy, can't you hear his voice? Chasing revolutions in the darkest nights. A dreamer with vision beneath the laughter and noise. A future so bright waiting for the right choice. Benefactor boy, dreaming about the world he can't employ. Changing the system, but treated like a toy. Ideas misunderstood, but brilliance is his boy. Benefactor boy, can't you hear his voice?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to League of Extraordinary Inventors. I'm your host, Mike from Faraday Research, and I'd just like to start off the show with Merry Christmas, everybody. Thanks for joining us on the Christmas show. Next Wednesday is Christmas, and I'm all geared up. I hope everybody else is ready for Christmas. It kind of crept up fast on all of us.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Next Wednesday, you say?
Yeah, Wednesday is Christmas Day. So
wow, you usually do a show that day. Okay.
Yeah. As far as next week, I think next Friday is a go for a show. I think we'll do a show next Friday night as well.
Nice.
Ben kind of, oh, there he is. Ben's back. You dropped off there, Ben.
We all thought that you got shy and you said, okay.
So this week's been a busy week with Nathan and Ben. It's like keeping up with the freaking Kardashians. It's like, holy man, it's like every like half day there's something new popping up on their channel. I'm at work. I'm at work. I'm like, damn, I gotta wait till my break before I can watch the video, right? So it's like, oh my god, it's like it's frustrating. You guys are putting out so much content. I can't keep up with you guys. I don't know. I must be getting older or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good though. That means your ideas are flowing and you're trying new ideas and not leaving anything out or any possibility, right? Just try it. Even though you don't know what the outcome's going to be, you still try it and you get a result. And sometimes it could be that aha moment, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
You got a big old stack of them, huh?
What is that? Oh, you got your. Oh, nice. Cool.
Nice.
Nice. Right on. Yeah, I'd like to get a hold of that. I'd like to really try that out.
Yeah. Nice.
Nice.
Very cool.
I got some theoretical stuff also I would like to share.
Sure.
Before you guys eat up the show with your with your calls and stuff. Um,
Hi, Lulu.
hey, Lulu.
Is your mic? Your mic's off, Lulu. Her
Video's off also.
Yeah, her video and her mic's still off.
All right,
yeah,
Phil, it's all yours.
yeah, you got the stage. Throw
Yeah.
something up for us here.
All right. Présenter,
And
partager.
Ben, what do you have on top of your head? Hi, Lulu. What do you have a
There you are,
roller coil
Lulu.
on your hat?
Yeah, he did. He put a claw on his head. Yeah.
I just kind of noticed that.
Yeah. So it's very quick. It's very quick, but it's very important. I mean, about gravity and anti-gravity and what creates an acceleration or force, and the link with the Cavendish experiment that gets, maybe I can replay it again, but the Cavendish experiment that gets, the rod gets attracted by light, and the MHD vortex that is explained because it generates energy, gravito-magnetic energy. So everything comes to a sense. I'll show the video right now.
Any form of energy produces gravity.
So any form of energy produces gravity. That's what Einstein said. He said it himself. Why are we struggling to find anti-gravity? All we have to do is generate any form of energy, and it's going to create an acceleration. It's very simple. Any form of energy can be electric, magnetic, electromagnetic, gravito-magnetic, gravito-electric, or gravito-electromagnetic. Whatever form of energy can create an acceleration. So
sorry to cut you off, Phil. My question is there a device that can detect a gravity wave? Do we have anything out there that would come remotely close to detecting, I guess, a magnetic shift or a gravitational shift?
An accelerometer is the closest thing for that. You know an accelerometer? Yeah, it's kind of indirect, but it's not a direct way of measuring it. But yeah, you can only measure it indirectly, not directly. But yeah, using an accelerometer or something like that, or a gravimeter actually, which is very similar to an accelerometer. Um, there's one in the iPhone. I use the gravimeter in the iPhone. I used previously for to measure my stuff, but uses a MEMS gravimeter inside. So, but I can do some more research and detail it. Give you an answer more detailed by email if you want.
There is a
That'd be good.
website that gives you like a satellite view of the gravity on Earth. I searched it once. I wanted to see if I was experiencing like had time distortion between two events. I have them on record for like two receipts that I'm at the same time at the same place in two different places, but on the timestamp it registered like the same time, but they're like, at least a mile and a half apart. I can't be at two places at the same time, not like fraction of a second. So I started asking questions. What, is this possible? Like the two systems have, why are they like the same time and same day, everything? And it's not just one time, it happened a few times, and I have record of it, proof, like, documented proof. They said if time is not a linear thing, and if there's a gravitational welling from the
Yeah.
earth core, it could distort time shifts and times, and it could mess up some of these machines that, might log the thing in two different places because there was a gravity distortion. So,
Yeah, exactly. When there's gravitational potential, there's going to be time distortion and temperature distortion as well. The temperature will change.
so I did
And
more, and then I found a website for like a. I'll have to like dig back into my things that I've emailed to myself as important, for one day a website or link or things like that. I'll try to find it, but it's really cool because it's live. It's like interactive. It's not something that you just it's not just an image. It's like a map. Like you could see the colors changing in real time. So
yeah, cool.
yeah, it's a cool website. Like it's a cool. I don't know. It's probably generated by some satellite, and but it's open access. Like it's open source. It's not something that you have to sign up for or anything like that. Anybody could log in and take a look at that in real time. But it's managed by some government agency with geographic and something department. But yeah, I'll try to
Yeah,
find it. Yeah, you'll like it, I think.
cool. Yeah. Um, yeah, that's cool. But yeah, again, the any change in the gravity will create an acceleration, and will create a change in temperature. So these are the two ways you can measure gravitational waves, um, basically. So obviously the change in temperature is not very sensitive. It might be easier to use the change in acceleration than temperature. And yeah, also I want to right before the show, I uh, I figured that I need to investigate something because it's very simple. It's been there for a long time. The the energy density based on the electric and the magnetic waves. Well, based on the electric and magnetic energy, the resulting energy density. That's like a very mainstream equations right there that calculates the energy density based on the electric and magnetic fields. And but there's I think there's something that I think it's a little bit messy. This equation needs to be clarified. So I'm gonna work on that like next week, and because the energy density that's a volume. That's a volume. The energy density per meters cube. That's a volume, and the we see here that the electric and the magnetic field are squared, so it's in two dimensions. So it makes no sense. So I think it's oversimplified equations that needs to be rewritten from scratch. So that implies rewriting the permeability here and the permittivity. So unfortunately, I could not figure it out before the show because I just started working on this. I just had a blink, like illuminate
Mind block.
right before the show, but I didn't have time to work on that. But yeah, basically, what I really wanted to tell you is that, like I was showing in the video, is that any form of energy can create an acceleration or anti-gravity or anything like that, and even Einstein said it. So Einstein based his effort on Henri Poincaré, but it's all. I think
So-
the mainstream misinterpreted what Einstein said because at the end of the day, it's very simple. Energy is the same thing as mass, and energy or mass can create gravity. So it's all the same. Light can create gravity, and a magnet can create gravity.
How about
It's
sound?
already,
How
sorry,
about sound? How about sound? Because
sound.
sound, sure, why not?
Sound is
A pressure
a
wave. A
yeah.
pressure
It's
wave.
how do you call that? It's some sort of particle, but I forgot the name. How you call that? The quasi particle.
Right.
Yeah, so
So
it's a quasi particle.
so a quasi particle, wouldn't that influence a pressure against the gravity wave, causing a bend or a shift in the gravity wave? A pressure.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But you need matter to have sound. That's the problem.
Well, so you have energy to mass. So say like a sound wave, like when you go to a rock concert, right? That sound pressure wave hits your body and your body feels it. You can feel it in your chest.
Yeah,
So it's influence energy against a mass, which is your body.
yeah,
So wouldn't that be kind of similar to that?
yeah. Good point. I mean, I think the shock wave created in the air is what the energy that the big blast from the guitars and stuff like that, the amplifiers creates a shock wave,
Right.
it's gonna you're gonna feel it. Obviously, you're gonna
Now,
feel it
it
in your
now
chest.
if you were able to create some kind of ultrasonic shockwave on a spacecraft in outer space, which does not need the influence of air, so if you're able to do it in a vacuum using the quasi particle that you were talking about, wouldn't that be able to propel you in space, even though that you're in a vacuum?
Um, yeah, that's a good question. But quasi particles are they're not real particles. I forgot the exact definition, but um,
Are they like
I'll do some research, and before spitting out anything, I'll do some research, and I'll answer you next week or by email, something like that. I can't answer right now. I'm not sure.
is it like ions? Like ion thrusters?
Well, ions are using electro energy, right? That's different. We're talking about sound.
Oh,
Actual
sound. Okay. I didn't hear that. Yes. Like sonar, sound.
Yeah, but yeah, the so anyway, the I'll do some research. I'll let you know. But my point was that even magnetars, these big stars that have huge magnetic fields that generates a huge magnetic field. bend light even more than just with gravity. So the magnetic field also plays a role in the bending light. So yeah, there you go. The just the energy can create gravity. Any form of energy, being magnetic, electric, gravitomagnetic, or gravitoelectric, can create an acceleration. So that should not be a big secret anymore. It's just the main. Einstein said it 100 years ago. I think the problem is the mainstream that misinterpreted what Einstein said.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right.
Yeah, it's very simple at the end of the day. It's very simple. Astrophysics is very simple. It's not like complicated, some big complicated thing that you need 3 PhDs, 3 postdocs, or whatever to understand. It's very simple, extremely simple. So, yeah, that's my point here. We should not be. So having a flying saucer is very simple to do. Or creating force fields, or it should not be science fiction anymore. It's going to exist next year, and
Well, think
next year
about it.
we're gonna say last year we were just idiots or something like that. You know what I mean? Because we didn't have the technology yet, but it's like 2 years ago when we didn't have AI. We were kind of dumb, but now we have the technology, so it's going to be the same thing next year. So, we're going to get there, guys. That's my point. If we don't waste our time with war with Russia or whatever, all that stuff, then we can build something constructive, and we have a lot to do, man. We don't have time to waste with these stupid countries.
Well, you know what? The sad part is some of the greatest technology came out of World War II. You know what I mean? Like sometimes these wars in the
Yeah.
background, it's creating technology, but you know what I mean? It's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's like you want the technology, but a lot of this stuff doesn't get developed unless there's a war going on, right?
Yeah,
So,
unless we're put under pressure.
like a perfect example. John Bandini was doing a lecture, and he said he was able to get a hold of some old inventions that were made in World War II in Germany. And one of them was this battery. It was a mercury-based battery, and he said after 60 years of sitting on a shelf in a museum, all you had to do was turn this little crank on the battery, stirred up whatever was inside, and the battery came back to life. After 60 years of sitting
Nice.
on the shelf, this battery still works just by turning the crank. It's a mercury type based battery, he said, but he said it still worked as good as the day it was built. So, you know what I mean?
Nice.
Like,
Yeah, that's a good point. When we go to war, I can't admit that it helps me out to promote my technology to the U.S. military, because if we're close, right on the edge of a war, whether we go to war or not, we want to have the best technology. We want to have the best equipment to win a potential war, through deterrence or whatever. Um, so yeah, the U.S. is a lot proactive for things like that, for sure.
Well, I was going to say about the energy thing. You can use any energy to create pressure to create a direction. The problem is you have to be able to create enough energy with such a low input power in order to make it work. So there's two ways to do it. You could do it on the hot side, which wastes it, or you could do it on the cold side, which actually is what you're looking for here. So you can use less energy in order to create it because you're making the correct field.
Right.
It's not so much that energy can't do it, it's how you use the energy and which energies you put in and which fields you create. Now, that's the hardest part for most people. They can't see that. They can't see that it's more than one field. It's 4 to 5 fields that you have to put into something. You also have to understand, resonance, you have to understand harmonics. There's a lot more that go into it. I don't disagree that you can create pressure with any electricity. That is an absolute fact. Static electricity is probably one of the best things to use in order to create force, but that still leaves a problem. You still didn't break the gravity. And the problem is with Earth's field, probably about 20 feet up, we still have a field around us we're not seeing. And because that field still sits there, we have to break that before we break into the real stuff. You know what I mean? To get free of it. So it's like any static pressure that you put on a plate in between something, it's going to hold you down with charge. And you have to break that charge before you can get the lift.
Right. Like some of the stuff that they've built to this point, as far as alternative propulsion systems, our only barrier is from the ground to outer space. That's our big barrier. But as soon as you get into outer space, regardless of how much energy or how much force you can create, it's still going to work in outer space because you're in 0G. It's not like you're going to fall out of the sky, right? So, that's why, if we're working so hard on anti-gravity, why don't we kind of focus on warp drive? Okay, half our battle's just getting into space. Since we establish a foothold in outer space with a space station that has fuel, the resources that we need to explore further out, we have to establish that first. The International Space Station, yeah, it's great for experiments, but that's all it's good for. What we need is a working platform up there where you can store fuel, oxygen, resources that you need. When you do get up there, you can refuel, say, electrical energy if you're using some kind of EM drive. And there you go. You charge yourself up in orbit, and then go to Mars or the moon or whatever you decide to go. It's half the battle is just getting from Earth to space. As soon as we can master that, then we're good.
Yeah, and one thing that's gonna help is having either having some sort of, not a capacitor, but some sort of way to store energy, like high temperature electrolysis or teleport energy or something like that. If you can teleport energy, you can.
Well,
I mean,
they had this crazy idea. I seen it on some show years ago. This go back well over 15, 20 years ago. They had this idea where they would have a ship, and then what they would do is you jettison at the back of the ship a nuclear detonation device. It explodes and then propels the ship forward by nuclear detonation. Sounds like a crazy, stupid idea, but actually might be quite effective if you can get beyond the radiation and whatever.
If we could harness hydrogen from space, because there is something that's called a hydrogen frequency line. So they do exist in like so many parts per, atmospheric whatever. If we could harness that, the hydrogen atom, and use that as the nuclear detonation, to give the spaceship a forward thrust. We could like capture it and then move it towards that, and then just
because like if you got like some kind of EM drive that could create an electromagnetic shock wave, like an enormous EMP, I guess you would say, that would manipulate the ship. It would definitely give it some thrust, which is also less harmful for the crew, versus like nuclear radiation and stuff like that. But the other thing too is a lot of people don't realize there's a lot of radiation in outer space, especially going through the Van Allen belt. So your ship's going to have a great amount of shielding. So that's where the material science comes into play. And yeah,
But you don't necessarily need. Hold on, you get the metal shielding, right? But then you
Yeah.
have to have a field of energy shielding it. So I can tell you right now, building the gravity flyer, I can produce fields of energy that'll hold things in or push things out. That'll take care of your radiation to stay on the outside of your ship. So no matter what, you're going to have to produce energy around it if you want to do anything in space besides going to Mars or somewhere close.
Mhm.
You're going to have to do it, and you're going to have to produce the field on the outside of your ship in order to do it, because otherwise that radiation is too much.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, so let me tell you what I'm talking about. You can take static energy and hold it in with Tesla coil rotating energy. But you can also push that static field out by rotating that Tesla coil's energy. You can push that static field out. So it's a barrier to other forms of energy. Once you learn what takes care of the energy out there that's creating the radiation, now all you have to do is produce the field that holds that back. That is not that difficult. It's just there's only several states of energy you have to learn in order to do that. But it's a prerequisite in order to keep you safe.
Yeah.
Is it creating
Yeah.
like electrons on the surface of the ship? Like, like floating electrons on the surface? Wouldn't that create a negative charge barrier?
Well,
Right.
it's more of like the thickness of the field that's creating the barrier.
Yeah.
So every type of energy has its own thickness. So as long as you know which one is better than the next, you're okay. See how Earth does it naturally. It tells you exactly which ones to use in the Van Allen belt. So if you could just take that understanding and see that and reproduce it in your lab with that type of energy, you're good to go. So I think that Tesla coil is the key to it. And an energy like it has to be rotated. If you just put it there and turn it on, you're not doing anything. You might as well box yourself in a room and pass gas. That's because that's about all you're going to be doing. You have to rotate it.
Yeah, the other thing too on capturing energy, a lot of people don't realize there's a lot of neutrinos floating around in outer space, and if you can capture those neutrinos, you can convert that into power.
Yeah, good point. Or the cosmological microwave background as well.
Yeah, totally. It's all around you. When you're in outer space and you don't have to worry about fighting gravity anymore, all you have to worry about is going straight, going forward. That's about it after that point. So, and if you're going at high speed, high velocity in space, those neutrinos are going to hit your ship a lot quicker and more frequently. If you can harness all that, say on the skin of the ship, that could be your energy source you're looking for too.
I want to know how they're going to keep out the small little asteroids that come through. If you have like a little rain shower of pebbles, like how do you stop that?
Yeah, exactly. That's another problem. So probably your energy force field around the ship would have to be designed to repel any kind of celestial, object, right?
You may have to take the hull of the ship itself and polarize it. So you may have to make a field right there on that in order to push things away, because it may be too late if you know what I mean, because the outside field is generally for the energy that's out there, the radiation and stuff. But in order to stop those things, man, the amount you'd have to put in energy to produce that type of field from that, we don't have the power source to do that yet. So we'd have to take a different thing, first of all, and just polarize the whole of the ship.
Yeah.
I not one like make the charge different than the outside, so already it has different, like it repels,
Yes.
bipolar.
So it has a repulsion charge on the surface. Like
well, what needs to be done? What needs to be done are energy beams, super highways in the space, so that you could within these highways you have some sort of invisible energy beam you can harness if you need energy, just like a subway, you know, that needs electricity. So if you're within that highway, then you can feed off that energy as far as you want. So you're not gonna lose any energy if you're between two stars or something like that. So that's what needs to be done, I think. And you can feed off that energy superhighway um, for all the way until the Andromeda, not the Andromeda, but the next star is is reached. So
Alpha Centauri.
Alpha Centauri, yeah, that's right. Thanks.
Well, one advantage would be is if you made the whole plating on the outside, if you made it an electric, so then you already have a charge there and it's already pushing one way, then you just put the energy in to amplify it.
Yeah.
That would help a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, maybe that's why all these orbs that you're seeing in the sky, they're creating this plasma field around the craft for a reason. Maybe that's the reason. Right?
Well, as soon as you create the plasma field, you're creating gases inside. Whether you know it or not, you're going to create some oxygen, some nitrogen, and some other things in there. And you're literally going to create you know what I mean? Your breathing system and everything else once you do it. So it may not be purified or something like that, but you can create things on the outside of your ship to pull them in and purify them for your air inside your ship. That way you can extend the distance of where you're going.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, if you're producing O3 in there, how hard is it going to break it down to, to a straight O? You just have to break the O3, right? So you combine it with a hydrogen and you get an oxygen, you get an H2O, and then you know what I mean? Something like that. We can combine and take things apart, but as long as you can produce it on a steady basis, which we've shown we could do ozone in space, we do plasma. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have thrusters that already do it, so
yeah.
We can break material down and put it back together.
If we could do ozone, then hydrogen's already in the ambient atmosphere. So you get the hydrogen with the ozone, break the ozone into, you add the H2O and you water, and that could be, yeah, it could be done.
Kind of have to keep your own environment going on there, huh? Make it more complicated.
I mean, you would think when they're building these things that they would have every possible, synthesis of anything, any molecule possible. They would have to have something up there like that, because you never know when you're going to need what,
Yeah, well, you see on the outside of the space station, they start to have growths that are spurting up on there. So there's definitely something out there. It's not as empty as they say it is. So I think there's water out there. I think there's a bit of air out there. Not by any means where we can survive on it, but you know what I mean? But it's still out there. I mean, we have collectors that we could put in the desert that collect water, for God's sake. You put them on your roof and they collect water.
Yeah. The same thing with neutrinos. There's this company, I'm trying to think what country. I believe the guy's from Russia. Yeah, from Russia, and he's created this battery system. It looks like a cube, and he's made this special cell that supposedly captures neutrinos. So that's something really interesting to look into.
Yeah.
Japan is building something underneath one of their mountains to detect neutrinos. Like they have it buried so deep in there, like to block everything else, because neutrinos are supposed to be things that are very hard to capture or detect, because they get lost with everything else. So they
Yeah.
mountain was like a filtration system of everything else to try to detect the neutrinos, inside of this mountain cavity.
Isn't there a snow lab in Ontario, Mike, that detects neutrinos as well?
Sorry, say that again.
The snow lab in Ontario.
Snow lab? I never heard of it.
It's
Never heard of it?
holes. They
Oh,
drill holes, a lot of them, and they drop these little things, like I don't know, maybe miles underneath the ground, and
hmm.
with the ice where if the neutrino, because it could come from
Well,
anywhere.
I know they're doing it in Antarctica. They're doing that technology there. That I do know. They got these devices down there. I think they go down like 3 or 4 kilometers deep, and they got these high sensitive sensors that can actually, you know, detect these neutrinos. So, yeah, they're definitely doing it. They are working on it.
But this is really interesting about this guy that can harness them. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, it's the cube is like 1 foot square, and it's got the special cell, almost very similar to what I'm doing, a little bit different, but he claims that it's capturing neutrinos. It's part of his system is it has to be in a vacuum. It's got to be in a vacuum for it to work. So I've been studying it. I've been looking into it. I'm going to look into it some more. Um, yeah,
Cool.
interesting stuff. But yeah, there's in outer space, you're in the wide open. You know, you got neutrinos, you got cosmic radiation, you got asteroids, you got so many things out there, like this huge primordial soup of of matter, whether it's electromagnetic or gaseous, you know. Um, there's everything out there that you need to use for your ship, whether it's oxygen, hydrogen, all this stuff is in space. You
Mhm.
just have to come up with a novel way of harnessing all that material that you're collecting along the trip to use it for your ship. So it's like the gas station is built on board your ship,
Yeah.
right? So it's such a complex thing. Building a spaceship is just mind blowing. What's involved.
Well, it's not that mind blowing anymore if we have robots that can build it for us.
Well, not even that, piloted as well, because our bodies have limitations. The average human lives what, 80, 85 years. Okay. Alpha Centauri is what, 4 light years away. So you gotta have to be going light speed every single day for 4 years, and then you're in Alpha Centauri. I'm
But you
sorry.
can you don't
I would,
forget don't
I would, I would be a fossil by the time I get there. You know what I mean?
yeah, but don't forget we can create an artificial tunnel with that lowers the gravitational potential, so you can travel faster than light within that tunnel.
That's the only way you can do it, though. You have to come up with teleportation of some kind or warp drive, because our bodies just cannot live that long. You have to have some kind of warp, or you know warp drive of some kind.
Yeah, but it's theoretically possible, but we just need to find a way to neutralize energy, cancel energy with energy, something like that. Um, or like when you have two waves, the interferometer, if you have two ways that have complementary the wave, and you add them together, it creates a null wave. So we need to be able to cancel, or I need to work on that, man. I don't know, but it's theoretically possible
Yeah.
to, if you're able to cancel energy with energy, then we're on track.
Yeah, I think the big leap in technology would be either teleportation or warp drive. Until we get there, going to another star system, I just don't see it happening.
Well, you got to walk before you run. So create the fields around the ship. That's going to lead to your warp drive.
Right.
They'll find a way to manipulate them to make it work.
All right, man, get on that. We'll see your results next week.
Yeah. I can already create the fields, man. That's not a problem.
That's the speed you're working, Nathan, is going to be done within 2 weeks.
I don't know about all that. I'm kind of on a different track right now, trying to track something down. So,
yeah, it's just going to take time. But you know what? Anybody used to listen to Art Bell? He wrote a book called The Quickening. I don't know if anybody has heard of that book. But anyways, that book talks about in the last, say, 25 or 30 years, a series of events that are happening on Earth are happening faster. It's like history is speeding up, or like, say, from the dinosaurs to when human civilization started, time went very slow. There wasn't a lot of progress happening. But since humanity started taking its first steps on the planet, by around, say, 1900, time started to go faster. Things were picking up. Between, say, the Wright brothers to the first steps in outer space, that was 60 years, right? There was a lot. Things started to move, and then the transistor got invented. That revolutionized a lot of stuff. The transistor, and then the microchip came out in the late 60s, early 70s, and it was just boom, boom, boom. Technological advance after technological advance. It just keep going, and it seems like it's going faster and faster and faster and faster. So, yeah, give it another 30 years if we're still alive by then. That this technological advances are going to keep accelerating.
If we keep it out of the right hands, I mean, some of these people, man, you don't want some loose cannon doing this. As soon as they start saying, hey, we'll give some kind of mass destructive weapon, you're out, buddy. You got fired. You're just fired right on the spot. You're done. I don't want anything to do with you. This is meant for the betterment of humanity, not the destruction of it.
Yeah, that's true. And I think that's, other civilizations have fallen because of that.
Yeah, we had a discussion, is it okay for secret societies to hold it a secret, or should they put it out to the world? Well, it depends what the world's going to do with it, isn't it? I mean, if your world is going to destroy everybody on it, well, I'm not riding that train, buddy. So it's not getting in your hands. Yeah. So if they have to hold it back and then build it, I'm not so sure that isn't okay. Now, I'd like everybody to have free energy and stuff like that. Of that purpose, I'd love to have people do it. But if I gave you the ability to build, a planet, there's no chance I'm giving it to a moron.
I think our big problem here is, and it's very obvious to me, that our technological evolution and innovation is going faster than the human brain's evolution.
Because they held us back. No. They keep holding us back. We would have had this 100 years ago, easy.
Right. It's what my point is. Our evolution is far. Correct. Yes, that's what I'm on to. Because if our intent is for the better of all humanity, not just the powerful people, and this is where you get divide and conquer, and you get the wars, and you get the religious wars, all that. That's where we have. That's where we have not advanced. We've stayed the same way, and unfortunately, for some civilizations, that's how they met their demise. And we're no different. You think we're advanced? Yeah, our machines are advanced. Our brain is still primitive.
Yeah, exactly.
Like sometimes I'm scared to ask questions, afraid of the giving an answer that somebody might be able to use for ill will. You know, like
Well, that's it.
I mean, that's the truth. This kind of science could be used for embetterment and
Right.
destruction, you know? And
Yeah.
it's like, where's that fine line where you like leave things discreet? You give a lot, but then just the last little thing you don't give out, like, that last bit of it because, you don't know where it's going. And, if somebody is smart enough and they really, really want to do something, it out. Usually, like people that have ill will want to buy it, because they're not, they don't have a high IQ to think of it. So they do that. But the ones that figure it out, they don't figure it out for ill will. Usually, like all inventors figure out things to better humanity. You know, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't. If other
Well,
people that's but the intent originally is not.
yeah. There's a guy who wrote a book called The Human Condition. If you guys look it up, you can find it. The author, he's from Australia, and he studies animals and everything to do with the animal kingdom and how animals relate with each other, how they communicate, all this stuff. He's really knowledgeable, but he wrote a really good book about the human condition, and he hits it right on the nail. I suggest everybody look it up. It's called The Human Condition. So his name eludes me right now. He's from Australia. But he pretty much nails it. We have emotions like greed and envy and stuff like that. That's part of our problem.
It's not an emotion, it's a capital sin.
Yeah, it's if we get rid of our envy and greed, man, society would go way further, like way further.
Yeah, a little bit like Star Trek, they work, they don't get paid for their work, they just work for, but it's kind of socialist a little bit. So I don't know, but they have replicators too, so they can create anything they want. So with
Yeah,
the
that
replicators.
see that kind of scares me too. The replicator. If you had a real replicator, that could be giving the wrong things to the wrong people with the wrong intent.
Could give
Yeah.
me too many burritos in my garage. That's what could do. I'd be ordering steaks every night. You know what I mean? If they're free,
Mistakes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pushing that
Perfectly cooked.
replicator button.
Hey, it would end world hunger. Right?
Yeah. Oh, heck yeah. Don't have to give them 3 cents a day. You could just give them a replicator, and then here you go. You can have steaks with me. Of course, then again, they probably can't eat some of them in some countries, so might have to give them other things.
Wouldn't we run out of space because everybody would be replicating like so many things?
Yeah.
What scares me is you have to have matter in order to replicate matter. So, what matter are they using to replicate that? So, maybe our steaks are made of poo. You know what I mean? We don't know. I got you, Mike.
Oh my God! I almost spit my pop all over my computer. God. Oh, God. No.
Oh, I got you good, Mike.
Oh man. Wow. Oh my god.
You got the brown steak.
Oh. Here we go again.
Oh, that's amazing. No, but I would abuse a replicator like for the first week, like everybody
Yeah.
else.
Everybody gets a O. Henry bar.
Yeah. Oh, if it starts replicating Baby Ruth, I'm out. I go back to the fridge.
Batteries, replicating batteries, like the things that most people run out of are batteries and socks. Like batteries and socks, these things, like no matter how much you buy,
Underwear.
always more. You know? Batteries and socks. For the replicator for the
I don't know if you could do that. They may have limits on it. I would replicate myself. Can you imagine 3 of me doing this show? That'd be awesome.
Oh my god.
we would be on the tomorrow if there's 3 of you, Nathan.
Gerald, where are you? Gerald, jump on. He's here.
What's up, Gerald?
Captain Kirk is here. Where is he? I sent you a link.
So funny, man.
Captain Kirk has arrived. Oh man.
Yeah, can you imagine that? I mean, that movie Multiplicity, where the guy that played Batman, he was in it, and he just replicated him a bunch of times, and then the copy of the copy made the copy, and then they progressively get dumber as they make copies of themselves.
At the end, they're like, "Duh."
Yeah, it was so great. Michael Keaton. Yeah. That would be me. I'm going to send them all off to do tasks and build different things so that I have more time to sit in front and watch a YouTube, I guess.
Oh man, that was a close call. Oh my god, that would have been so. Jesus.
That's so great.
I didn't know it could be hazardous to your health to have it pop in front of your computer.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just gonna zip out for a smoke. I'll be right back. I sent an invite. I sent an invite to Mr. Gerald. Hopefully, he'll show up.
Not good. Oh my god. Wait. Oh, that's not good. How hot do you got that thing? You know where I found solder for a cheap price was Harbor Freight. They sell big spools of solder there for cheap. So
There's
what were you saying, Lulu?
there's like little ones that come, with a tube, fill it, and then the torch, but like small ones. You don't have to be messing with like huge things if you're doing small things,
Oh, he's going to be building boards for people. He needs a big spool of it.
Oh, then
Oh, well, that could be the problem too. Because yeah, because it's about how much time does it take to heat up a tip. So the more mass you have, the longer it takes to heat it up, and then the hotter it stays. So yeah, you got to get a small tip in there and get that solder. So Quit bittering your tip, Ben. But Gerald's in the private chat. Mike's not here to put him on. Yeah, quit burning it. Dude, I'm so bad with solder. I solder everything. I don't bother to get a wire nut or connection thing. I just solder it. It's like, well, yeah, because you only have a few seconds and you pop on there, solder it, and it's done. And that's it. If you spend any longer than that, you're not doing it. And all it's got to do is pull into the board and you're done. It's a good connection. Yeah, Gerald says you're bending your tip. Wow. Just right for it, didn't you? It's like a total collision right there. Wow. Oh, Mike's gonna be so mad later when he hears that. Oh, we're so in trouble. Never leave us in a room alone.
He's gonna have 2, 3 warnings.
Oh man, I'm glad we're laughing. I had a rough day, man. I've been sick all day. It's like, wow. Yeah, right now I am, yeah, because we're laughing and having a good time. But man, I'm dying inside. Like the phlegm has gotten to the point where in your chest, you know how it hurts when you cough? Yeah, that's about where it is. Oh man. That would be cool though. I mean, you think about it, replicator. What can I do with that? I mean, how do you put material in the replicator though to get it to produce stuff? Do you just put your old shirts in there or something, or any matter? Well, sure you can. Well, it'd make things money useless. It'd be perfect. Let's keep replicating it. So who wouldn't replicate themselves though? I mean, there's a lot of tasks we'd like to do, right?
But who would have the right of way to do their thing before the other person? Because if you know, like the two people would have ideas, you know? Like, what if I want my clone to, like, you know, clean up while I do something else? And what if the third one wants to go to the beach? And it's like, like, what happens? Like,
And will your clone have a soul too? Will he kind of, if he has no soul, it's like a robot. So you could technically abuse the robot to make tasks you don't want to do.
yeah, like,
What's up, Gerald?
like, what would their morale?
We'd have to tag in and out. You'd have to accept the fact right away that everything that clone does, you're doing, and accept it in your mind. So when you tag in and out, you're all right. You never get in trouble. See?
Nah, I was born of the flesh. I have bone, blood runs through it, fuck that clone. I go first. He doesn't like it. I'll kick his ass. That's just the way it is, man. Sorry, I didn't mean to get carried away, Mike. Hi, guys. How are you?
Joe's gonna write biblical #1 on his butt, and that's how you tell the difference.
Gerald shot right out of a cannon.
Land on my feet or my face. I don't care. Go for it.
Oh.
Well, he doesn't listen. He doesn't listen. That's the way it is, man. I was born. He was cloned.
The mirror match. The mirror match like in Mortal Kombat, you know?
Nah, I just dig a hole. I mean, I'm kidding. So I got a bunch of my Schottky diodes today. I've been playing with them. I've had lots of fun.
Nice.
I can't stay on long though because I just popped in to say hello and say how are you guys. Have you guys been following everything that's going on around us?
Yep.
Yeah, I saw Nathan's channel this week.
Well, no, that's not quite what I meant. Yeah, Nathan's channel, absolutely. He's doing amazing work. You guys all are. But to put it as crass as it gets, sorry, Mike.
No, go ahead.
We pissed in the pool and created a whole bunch of waves, and now everybody's trying to get in to make their own waves. And I freaking love it. Because you got to think, we started this a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
Because of that, I think we stepped on some toes. They didn't like it very much, and they started pushing to get their stuff out because they didn't want to bring it out to begin with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now others are out there, other groups are claiming that they were the ones that are bringing it out. I don't really care, right? I look at it like this. Whoever pisses off the group that has the most influence and they bring it out and piss off the physicists to get their head out of their asses, sorry, the academic controllers of the physicists, and things change, I don't really care. I could say I was at the bottom of the rung and I ticked off the right people that did the right things in order to get this crap out. So I got to applaud all of you. If my camera was on, you would see me applauding. But this whole group, you guys have done amazing. Just your explanations, your work, your dedication, I applaud you. Just saying that. Because we've been making waves whether or not we know we've been making waves or not. And in a good way. I'm not pissing on any group out there. That's not what I mean. But I love the fact that if it takes a little bit of a fire to get someone off their ass to get their job done, we lit the match.
Yeah, like
you know what I mean? And I say that in a good way. I got mad respect for everybody working on stuff that's outside the box. Those that are working inside the box, well, that's the same place cat litter sits. So
Daryl,
that's true. But the thing is, oh, sorry, Lulu, go ahead.
I was saying when Phil and I went to this thing, every department in the government was there, and we're telling them about the possibilities. This is the first day. The second day, the drones appeared in New Jersey. One of the people sent an email saying, "Oh, he couldn't attend because there's unidentified drones, over New Jersey." You understand, that event. I'm telling you, we Phil, and I try to help him, explaining about this engine that they have to create a special department just to, create the science for it. The second day, I'm telling you, there's sightings. So, yeah, if
they have to
hear
create
it online, they sure hell heard it face to face.
I think they're going to have to create a department just to understand the new motors that are coming out based on CPE. because although there's a lot out there, and there are some people out there that have written really in-depth scientific papers and done a lot of work, there's people out there that have done work on zero-point energy and the ether for years that have stayed in the background, and they whisper amongst each other and they don't say anything because they don't want to be the ones to stick their heads out on the platter to get it chopped off. We all know the story of Amy Eskridge. As soon as she started talking, boom, dead. Interesting. There's lots of different people that have disappeared or had issues because they've brought us out. But because there's a whole bunch of us pushing the envelope, they can't take us all out. Maybe one by one, I guess. But
are you telling me a bunch of morons on YouTube sat there and talked enough crap to make them push their stuff out?
Yeah, I'd say I'm moron number 2.
That's right.
Maybe we're not morons after all. We're creating this stuff on a shoestring budget. We don't have billions of dollars in backing money and multi-billion-dollar laboratories, and we're doing stuff that these guys are doing on the friggin' kitchen table. So, tell me who's,
You're
what I mean?
absolutely right. Let me give you a little bit of context to that. We aren't the first. We all stand on the shoulders of 1,000 men that came before us, right? We've all looked at Tesla's work. But what a lot of us, and we've looked at Steinmetz, and we've looked at John Bedini, we've looked at a lot of different inventors along the way. One thing I don't think we all considered is Tesla was a Freemason and got a lot of his information from the Freemason library. So he kind of cheated, right? Anyone who gets this stuff from a library from the past, I'm sorry, you're fucking cheating.
Well, don't forget.
Do the experiments. What's that?
Tesla got all the ground energy experiment ideas from Nathan Stubblefield.
Okay, exactly. That's,
Right.
But maybe they were conversing and Stubblefield and him,
Sure.
work together.
Sure
That's possible. And that's awesome. But again, he had a lot of his information on the pyramids and how this energy worked, and where the heart of the pyramid was actually an Evo or ball lightning, or what some have called in the past St. Elmo's fire. There's lots of different names for it.
Yeah.
But when it gets to a certain level and a certain size, it's no longer an Evo. It's no longer ball lightning. It's a vehicle. Now, what's in that vehicle is even 10 times more interesting than most people want to even look at, let alone understand. Remember, we're not just human beings. Well, what's the even definition of a human being? Hue meaning light, right? That comes off of man, being. So does that mean we are a light being? Could we be possibly the thing that could sit in an Evo that's large enough to withstand a different atmosphere? A lot of the different scientific groups are now talking about how when you open a door, you can have a building, say, that was 10 by 10 feet square, but you open the door and you're in a warehouse that's 1,000 feet by 1,000 feet because of the way that quantum entanglement works and the way that you would travel through a wormhole and the whole 9 yards. Like, it would take me like a half hour to explain it. But because of that, it gives you the ability to travel in a very small vehicle from the observer on the outside, but on the inside, your vehicle could be massive. But your mass is different. Your weight is different. Everything's different because of the way that energy flows and time flows. And I'm getting a little bit off track, but I do believe that because of where everybody's been pushing, that this cannot not come out now. Do you know what I mean? With what you're building, Mike, and with what Nathan's been doing, and the waves that Phil and Lulu have been seeing and contributing to, let alone, I mean, we got to give credit to Jeremy Reese and his group. He was doing stuff years ago before he dropped off YouTube. Then he came back and, got his group. He's a little bit of a dry kind of a, whatever, but we'll give him a little bit of credit on that because he got scientific groups together that put us together. So I think that it took everybody, whether we got along or not, whether we butted heads, whether or not we believe the same things or even the same way that these things work. I think it took all of us to start putting the pressure down to get it out. We're not done yet. All we're doing is making them nervous. That's nothing. We got to keep pushing. We got to get to the next level, and the next level is going to be even more crazy and freaking awesome. I'm telling you, you guys are going to dance on stars.
Yeah.
Sorry, my rant is over.
Yeah, I was watching Jeremy Reese's interview with somebody. I thought that I was a conspiracy theorist, but he's even a greater conspiracy theorist than I am. And he got all the details and he knows exactly what he's talking about. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I know. I won't go into how. Yeah.
Different scenario why drones exist. Think of this. What if they're emergency extraction vehicles for important elite people? If there's if a nuclear detonation occurs anywhere in the world, to reach us is about maybe 8 minutes. What is faster? Something that is on demand, hovering over the your whatever house facility to extract people, faster than that.
8 minutes doesn't mean anything though when you can open a wormhole faster than the speed of light. Remember when you're
the explanation of why things are hovering over New Jersey at the moment and in different areas.
I think those are two different things. But I'm not going to elaborate too much on it other than I think that part of it's military and the other part is something that the military has been dreading and working for years to try and be able to beat.
Yeah.
Remember, what's that?
What's going on the West Coast, I think, is extraterrestrial. What's happening in New Jersey is all terrestrial stuff.
I think it's a bit of both. Remember Admiral Byrd and the story of Admiral Byrd and how he was captured and then allowed to leave and then chased out, right? So whatever he was chased out by allowed him to leave, essentially because they were, well, what they considered Foo Fighters, but I don't know so much about that in the sense that that's what they were. But you're talking a highly advanced civilization that's a breakaway civilization from even before Admiral Byrd's time, but they came upon them. So what if now, because of the shift of what's going on in our solar system and the different planets, the effects that are going on, plus we're getting to a higher level of tech. The whole planet's coming to a higher level of understanding, whether we like it or not. It just is, right?
It goes back to that book again, The Quickening. Things are speeding up. Things are speeding up, especially in the last 3 years. I'm seeing tech advances really, really fast, especially in the AI stuff and also the drone stuff. I've worked in aerospace. I've seen some huge innovations happening in a very, very short period of time. So
they've had it for years, though, Mike.
Yeah,
they're only releasing it now because their groups have all decided who it is that they're going to put at the forefront of it to say, look what this guy did. Like Elon Musk, for instance. You think he created any of those devices? No. But he's an amazing team gatherer. He can put people together. That's his gift.
He's a software guy. He started off as a software guy.
There you go. So he was able to put little pieces together, make an awesome team, build a company. Good on him, but he is no inventor.
You know what, though? I like the motto, "Fry it and find out" with him. When he starts doing it, he does it on those shuttles. Everything burns up. Okay, we'll fix it. We'll just do it again and see if it burns up again.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah.
That's
I wish I had the money.
me.
that too.
Yeah, but just fry it once in a while.
Well,
But
they're,
once in a while, it's fun.
they're just trying to make him into a poster child of Tony Stark, right?
Well,
But the difference between Tony Stark and him is Tony Stark made the stuff. Elon doesn't. He has other engineers that build the stuff for him. He's
exactly.
He's taking the credit for it. He's taking the credit for it.
Exactly. Did you know? Did you know that Elon Musk, back in 1995, he illegally overstayed in the United States to build his first company, Zip2. He stayed like 4 years. He overstayed after his student visa. But back then they were kind of lax. The laws were not as strict as they are these days. But that's when he built his company Zip2 and made 300 millions in 4 years. That's pretty good.
Yeah, you also got to look at who his family is, who his connections were. You know, like he's part of the elite since day one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But
You know what?
It was good with the ideas. He's a good idea guy. Yes. Very similar to Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs couldn't build a damn thing. It was Steve Wozniak. Hold on. No.
Visionary.
He was a visionary idea guy. The real hero of the story was Steve Wozniak.
Yeah, Wozniak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wozniak was the guy who made his visions into reality.
Exactly. And Steve Jobs took all the credit.
That's right.
Yeah.
John Bigman says he's like Edison. He's right. In fact, Elon Musk likes Edison. He's his hero. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
No, exactly. Yeah. Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, they're one of the same in my eyes.
But it's the same thing. It's the same thing with the OpenAI. Everybody knows the CEO. I forgot his name, but the CEO of OpenAI. But he's not the one who implemented the AI. The guy who implemented it is some genius who studied at the University of Toronto and then moved to San Francisco.
You know what? It's the same shit that they always do. I'm sorry, but anyone who goes to the patent office and thinks that they're going to get saved by the patent system, you're absolutely delusional. And I say that because Paul Pantone did everything he could to patent the system that he had, right? Sure, it was a little harder to tune, but all of a sudden it disappears and Malcolm Bendall comes out, the thunderstorm generator, and everybody's all over it. It's Paul Pantone's system.
That's right.
It's just like, and I'm sorry to say, Sal Paez. All of his patents all go back to what? Back to Otis T. Carr. And everything that Otis T. Carr did, he learned from Nikola Tesla. So really, they're doing the same shit they've always done. Taking stuff from people from the past, waiting till they're dead, giving it to somebody they want to promote, and putting it out there. And that's how they work.
Exactly. And same with Bendini. Bendini thought he was the first to make the circuit he did. No, the first guy to do exactly what Bendini was doing was Robert Adams.
Yep.
And then even before that, Stubblefield. He was the guy who you could say invented the pulse motor. So you're going back over 124 years ago.
But Stubblefield didn't perfect the pulse motor, though.
No. He focused on the communications.
Hey, Gerald.
Yep.
We were talking yesterday. I found out how to do the directed energy. I kind of ran across it.
You kind of should be careful, like we talked about.
No, I know. I'm just telling you, it's a very low power. Just happened. Was trying a different test, and it just happened. Like that is not going on my channel.
You know, it's
well,
kind of funny. I imagine there's going to be a story in the future told about some days about today, about how, oh, I don't know, the lightsaber was created by accident, and so was the death ray, and what was the Eastern Indian philosophy nuclear explosion done by pure light? Yeah, Nathan, I'm talking about you on the pure light one, okay?
well, I listened to you, Gerald, by the way. I only connected 3 Tesla coils, not 4. Okay?
Oh, yeah. Well, you didn't listen to me then because I said 4 or more. I didn't tell you why not to
Well,
do less.
I did not connect the last one back to the first one. I left it open.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I listened, but I still
Yeah,
have
but
to
you also-
experiment.
Yeah, but you also listened to what I didn't say, and that's why I was trying not to say anything like that. I don't want to teach you stuff that's going to hurt yourself, man.
You
know
should,
what I mean? I've been
should
mapping this
really
stuff.
understand who I am, Gerald.
Yeah, that's why I can't teach you about certain things. Remember, I've been mapping this for 12 years, dude. I know more about this than Bob Grenier could even imagine. Oh,
I
and a
agree.
shout out to Bob Grenier, but if you ever come to me remote viewing in my dreams, dude, you're going to find something you don't want to see. So
Oh,
please,
no.
for your own benefit, stay away.
Oh, no.
Well, I'm just saying that because in the comments section, he went and said that he was remote viewing somebody's dreams and bugging them about getting something done. And
I hope it wasn't mine. You're going to have the same trouble.
I don't know. I have a gift when it comes to dreaming, so I hope
He'd be chased around like Star Trek people.
Yeah, you know what? As a matter of fact, if he tries to remote view you, try to create a big hole, and then he gets sucked right into it.
Yeah, but there's been remote viewers. Hey, there's been remote viewers that have been able to literally read paperwork on your desk, right? So if you're working on something and you have a design, thieves are abundant everywhere, apparently even in remote viewing. So you gotta be careful, right? Turn your stuff over at night. I don't know. Me, I personally pray over protection. So there you go. There you go. Don't get caught with them down.
Gerald says it works. Throw it in reverse. That's the way it works.
And upside down. Yeah, I'm staying away from that one. Too many holes.
and Klingons.
Yeah.
Memory holes. You're talking about memory holes?
holes and Klingons.
I don't know what kind of holes. They're all bad.
I have a question with the directed energy beam. Could it arc? Like, let's say if we use this to, I don't know, like, can it arc over the horizon line? Like, could the beam be like, could it curve?
It's not that kind of an energy beam.
So it's
No,
just
it's not like that.
Okay.
And I would suggest to proceed with caution when talking about stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to give the wrong people the wrong information. And I don't mean the science community. They're smart enough to figure all that out. I'm talking people that are playing with shit that just want to hurt other people. You don't want them to know about that stuff. You know what I mean?
Is up, and you're moving, which creates a friction. Now you got a voltage differential between the tip of the mast that's attracting the ionic flow from the ether, and you're creating a capacitor. That's your ship just became a capacitor.
Absolutely, it's the connection between ground and the atmosphere above it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, that's amazing how that works, and that's a principle. And if you can figure out the parameters every parameter of that principle, you can repeat it.
Yep. Doubt. Makes
Yeah.
total sense. Even these old churches, they have the big spires. And you get the right atmospheric conditions, you'll see electrostatic charge forming on the tips of the spires on
Yeah.
these old cathedrals.
Yeah.
Now, the ancients knew about this. Now, the big question is, what were they doing with it? Right?
Can I add to that?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so these churches that had spires and they would literally create St. Elmo's fire on top. Remember, glass has capacitance. And what did they have in there? They had stained glass windows. And in between, how they built stained glass windows back then was liquid metal, right? So I think it was
Lead.
Probably lead.
yeah,
Probably
it was
lead.
lead, right? So they had the ability to move energy around inside of a church by doing what? Singing, because sound moves energy. And when you're singing in a church, all that sound pushes it up to the apex of the top of the church itself. In a pyramid, 1/3 down from the apex is where the heart of the pyramid sits. That's where you get your angular momentum, your ball lightning, all of it. So in a church, it being a peak, the same way it would occur in a pyramid, it would happen in a church. But sound and the people singing with those certain tones and frequencies would push it up to the top. And then you would have your St. Elmo's fire at the mast of the church. But again, they had grounding rods and they would ground all that stuff out. But that's basically how it would work. Yes. They would create echoes because they knew how to literally place their sound from their chanting, and they would place exactly.
Well, goes
And
back to the Bible, walls of Jericho.
boom. The walls of Jericho had a little bit more to it than that, but you're absolutely right, Mike. The walls of Jericho were the same. They went around the walls of Jericho for 7 days, blowing their trumpets, walking with the Ark of the Covenant. And then at the last day, they blew all their trumpets all at once and the walls crashed because they literally created a bubble. They created a spherical motion with the Ark of the Covenant surrounding the walls. The walls acted as a grounding system. And with that sound, they punched through it and it just fell. Basically, they burst the bubble and the bubble brought the walls down.
Yep. It's funny how all this stuff goes back through human history.
Yep. It
Would
goes so
like-
far back.
thing to actually peer through that time just to see how for real like how it went down, like not to alter anything but just to really see it, go back and view it, like see, how did they even think of these things, just like glimpses of these things, like I would really love to see how they did that, like
My
vibration.
honest opinion is there was multiple civilizations before this one.
Yeah.
We've been lied to as far as our past, our history. We didn't come from Cro-Magnons.
Yeah. There was a city that was built like 4,000 years ago. It was a big city. It's not Babylon or anything like that. But it was a bigger than that. But I forgot the name. It was in the middle of the Middle East, and it was a pretty big city, man. It's like it was. I saw pictures and it was pretty impressive.
I don't believe that we came from apes. I don't believe none of that crap. What I do believe, however, though, is if you dug down deep in the valleys of the earth, you would find ancient cities and ancient towns and old structures that we don't even know are there today because of the flood.
Yeah.
Nobody takes that into consideration when they're looking for ancient relics.
There's been multiple cataclysms in Earth's
Exactly.
history And
So the
you know,
world
like,
has shifted a few times.
sure, and you know, a lot of these civilizations, what's left of them could be 3, 4,000 feet below the surface because of such drastic earth changes that occurred, floods, volcanism, plate tectonics, all this stuff can wipe out civilizations, and you wouldn't know that they were even there.
Yep, and spelunkers have existed since the beginning of time. And a spelunker is basically a cave jumper, right? They go down as deep as they can find. They map out caves.
Yeah,
I
I,
knew a few.
as far as I know, there's been 6 major civilizations that have come and gone, and we know almost nothing about them.
We do know about Atlantis and that it was highly advanced. I
Yeah,
believe that the pyramids were built before Atlantis, but operated in the time
Yeah.
of Atlantis.
yeah, yeah,
And I think that the Egyptians just came upon it,
yeah.
and
They
it was already
inherited it.
broken at that
Yeah,
point.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
The Egyptians didn't. Yeah, yeah. The Egyptians didn't build the pyramids; they
No.
inherited it. Them.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And they understood crystal tech and anti-gravity, as well as healing of certain kinds for animals and that sort, you know.
They tickled
Yeah,
the
Really?
elbow.
Veterinarians.
the city I was talking about was called Uruk, and it was 4,000 years ago. Yeah, 4,000 years BC. So 6,000 years ago. Um, that was a really huge city, man. It's
Dang.
uh, it's even prettier than what you see. But it's
Oh,
called
yeah.
Uruk.
That's what I think they've been hiding in.
Sorry.
No, that's all good.
Can you make it bigger, Philip?
I think they've
Um,
been hiding something like that in the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, Ben needs a bigger.
Well, they're finding artifacts in the Grand. Apparently they found artifacts in the Grand Canyon that match, what was in Egypt. That's kind
Oh,
of
not just Egypt, but Egypt and India and Philippines, and they all religions. There were the stuff they found in the Grand Canyon is absolutely amazing, but they don't want you to know about it. They've been
Well,
destroying it for years.
the
I
thing
doubt
is,
we'll ever find it.
there could have been a civilization as big as what we have right now that got wiped out thousands of years ago without a trace. Could
Yeah,
you
Grand
imagine
Canyon was a river at one point, very high, I believe.
that? Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that was all water. Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Civilization
Snake
called
River,
that.
that was another one.
What's that, Lulu?
Have you guys read or heard of a civilization that is called the Anunnaki?
Oh yeah, I know about the Anunnaki. I
It-
studied about the Anunnaki. In order to understand the Anunnaki, you also have to study demonology. You also have to study the Apocrypha of the Bible, and you have to study Sumerian history. And then you'll understand how evil and dark those fuckers were. Pardon the language.
Well, regardless of whatever
Gerald clones.
it is, like it was a civilization much more advanced than us that came to here to extract monatomic gold to rebuild their atmosphere.
Yeah.
Had different powers than and they needed us.
See, there you go.
And they somehow like genetically manipulated a part of their DNA and part of a creature that walks on 2 feet like and that but that's it. And somehow we were after experiment and failed and finally they got the right mixture and we were created.
I
And
disagree. I personally believe that they came here to genetically fuck with us because we were superior to them, and they didn't want to be left behind when the time came that we were to shift or change, because they betrayed their first order, and by doing so, they can't shift into the next level of evolution of what man is meant to be. See, the Anunnaki lied to mankind for so long. They didn't want gold to save their atmosphere. If you look at Mud Fossil, Mud Fossil University, he has a theory how giants were so huge that when they died, they lied down and they became part of mountain ranges. And those are the places that we mine for gold. Why? Because the giants' blood were gold. They had to be. They couldn't withstand the energy otherwise. Their bodies would just descend. They'd die. Their hearts were too big. The food wouldn't be enough energy for them to continue living. The Anunnaki themselves, according to certain theories on what was in their systems, was pure gold running through their veins. That's what they used in order to extend their life. So I think, and from what I've read and researched, and I could be wrong, Lulu, you could be right. I don't think so, though, because from my research, the Anunnaki came here jealous, messed with our DNA, knocking us down from living 1,000 years at a time to 110. And they did that as a joke in order to control the species so that we would mine their gold to extend their lives, making them above what we were meant to be as an evolutionary race. Does that make sense?
I mean,
That's just a theory, and I could be wrong.
But I mean,
But I've read what you're talking about in detail, and I've also read all the other books and sources that I've discussed with you, and I don't buy that they were our creators. I just don't. They were thieves. Sorry.
They messed with our genetics. That's what
I
they did.
Absolutely, they messed with our genetics. And the tech that we're talking about and working on literally is the same tech that the Anunnaki used. So if we can come up with this in our garages and our basements, these guys are supposed gods. I don't buy it, man. Sorry, I just don't. I can't. If they were gods, then how is it that we can come up with the same tech that they're using? By having the ability to grow food 3 times as fast, having the ability to negate gravity, having the ability to have energy to do things that we can't speak of on this channel.
I think understand they had their superpowers and their biology. It wasn't something that they invented to do something. Like they could change shape. They could fly into the sky without any,
You're right. But so could you.
you know.
That's the thing. So could you, Lulu. That's the secret. That's the big thing they don't want you to know. Your genetics, they say that man only uses what? What is it? 9% of our genetics or something, and the rest of it's all dormant? That's a load of crap. The only reason why it's dormant is because we're not eating manna, mythgit, white philosopher stone. And what is that? That's like monatomic gold, platinum, silver, everything mixed together that the human body needs at high energy state. What's it going to do to your blood? Your blood's already plasma, right? Are you sure it's not going to turn it to gold, making it a superconductive system, turning on certain genetic codes, allowing you to have those same gifts? But you're not a god. You would be a human being that had your genetic code turned back on, giving you the gifts and the abilities that you were meant to have originally. That's what they were. They were men and women that had their codes turned on properly. Then they wanted to be worshipped and called themselves gods and fucked with mankind. That's all they were, liars. So if they had followed what they were supposed to, mankind would have been given what they were meant to have, and they would have evolved in that manner as well. This whole planet was meant to be so much more than we are today. We've been lied to, told we're nothing but bags of flesh. I'm sorry, once I died, I just couldn't believe any of that crap. That's me, And I
Yeah,
apologize if I insulted you at all, Lulu. I did not mean
No,
that.
no. Oh, actually, I learned something. Like it was very positive. There's no insult because it just
Awesome.
made me think of like different, winner always writes history. So remember that. Like if
Yes.
the version of the history, like why not? Like I like to believe in a better story.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I mean, I don't like the story that we were created as worker. Like it still doesn't sit with me right. I like your version.
Yeah, we were manipulated and stolen and made to be workers. We were turned into slaves by them because the gifts they had and we didn't. They were meant in order to teach us properly. They didn't. They lied to us and used us as cannon fodder. That has to stop.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Look at that, the city of Uruk I was talking about, how it looked like 4,000 years ago.
Yeah,
Pretty,
look at that place. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
yeah,
Could you imagine the power running through that? Think of what Nathan's been doing with water and light, right? So if you
yeah,
imagine all that water being your negative and lit up, you have power through that whole city. You just have to have one source at the top. That's it.
yeah, exactly.
That's what I mean. We've been lied to. Like this energy is so simple. But of course, we have to have a corporation and you got to buy a few tools. And let's not forget the training and then papers. You need your papers.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh
Okay.
man, all the paperwork I have to do, man. Holy crap.
Yeah, I hear you. Everybody needs to do paperwork.
No, man, it's not paperwork. It's like a Bible. Whenever you talk to the government, you have. Now I made my taxes, and I have like 300 pages of paperwork every year
Oh,
to
Oh,
dude, I
produce.
get you. Check this out. When you're born, you got to sign paperwork, right? Then you get to your 12-year birthday and you got to get some IDs. You got to sign some more paperwork. Then you're 18 years old. You want to get your license. You want to get your photo ID. Guess what? You're signing for more paperwork. Then you want to buy a house. You sign a little bit of paperwork. Getting older, so you have to buy some insurance. You sign some paperwork. Then, of course, you're going to retire. You got to sign all that paperwork. Then when it comes to just before you're dead and you got to get a funeral in a stone, you sign that paperwork too. And in the end, you hear only one thing. What you hear all through your life, you get that phone call, beep. Oh, okay. Hello. How are you? Oh, yeah. Leave a message, beep. And then at the end, after signing all that paperwork, what do you hear? Beep.
Exactly.
Bunch of
Sorry,
schmucks.
dude. I just had to throw that joke out. You're awesome, Phil, man. You're great.
oh.
Oh,
You're
man.
a bunch of schmucks.
Flash rocks.
Captain Schmuck, or is it General Schmuck?
Oh my god.
I love it.
Oh man, schmucks.
Yeah, actually,
I love it.
a few people were complaining about General Schmuck recently.
Oh, really?
Nobody's done any podcasts with General Schmuck lately, so
Never heard from him? Was he
No.
from?
I don't know where he is. I don't know what he's been doing lately. What was that, Phil?
He's not having a tantrum again, or temper
No,
tantrum?
not lately. They haven't had him on, so it's interesting, right? Maybe he's just retired and said, "I've had enough. Too many
Or-
schmucks."
Or he accepted Russia's invitation.
Yeah, maybe. Never know.
Interview. He goes, "Yeah, Russia invited me to, come to their man, I heard it at least on times on 10 different podcasts. Like, go already,
Yeah, he's a unique character, that guy, I tell you. General Schmuck. He
Admiral
speaks
Schmuck.
Russian. Doesn't he speak Russian? Or something like that, he was saying.
No, he's Italian.
He's what?
He's Italian.
Is he Italian?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, I got some Italian for him. I know some Italians that probably know who he is. That's funny. It's really funny. Yeah, it's been awesome, you guys. I've only been on for so long here, but I'm gonna have to take off soon.
Yeah, we're gonna square up soon. Again, I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New
Oh,
Year.
yeah,
if you
that's coming.
celebrate it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
next Wednesday, man. Oh yeah, that's coming. Happy holidays to everybody else. And yeah, we'll do a show next Friday. I think Friday's a go. Everybody will be all turkeyed and hammed out. Schmucked out.
Yeah.
Mashed potatoes.
When I was
Turkey.
younger, never mind. I won't say that joke. It's bad. There you go.
You gonna buy yourself a coil? No, you buy your girlfriend a coil, and then you said, "What? You don't want it, or I'll take it."
My girlfriend, I'm buying myself my one front tooth.
Too many holes.
Holes and cones. It's a bad deal.
I'm tripping on them. Sorry.
Yeah, just remember, everybody, if you do what Tesla did, you'll see what Tesla saw. And all of us here have done what Tesla did on a different degree. We're all seeing it. So I just wanted to bring us back to a little science there instead of holes and cones.
Wow.
Right? I agree. Spell that backwards. Never mind. My we have a business guy that deals with all our advertising, and I'm like, Bob, I got this question. It's been driving me nuts. And he's like, what's that? Do you know how to spell your name backwards? And he actually had to sit there and think about it. Dude, I laughed so hard I had tears. It was great. He's like, what do you mean? Like, and I just started laughing. It was just awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, is your name? Does your name contain a subliminal message? Just spell it backwards.
I don't know. Mine's Yarig backwards. So I don't
Well,
know.
my name's a 4-letter word, so there you
That's so bad.
You'd say Ekim, your name backwards. Ekim.
Hey, Kim,
It sounds demonic to me.
Nathan almost spells Nathan. Almost.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And Lulu's.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Lulu.
I
would be
don't.
Ul.
I think my last name, Nutbub, Nut backward. Nut. That's just not right.
But my legal spells Law Ann. So, that's what it spells. Like my first name spells Law Ann. Yeah. It's a word.
Backwards?
2 words. Yeah.
There you go.
My name backward is Ipikaye.
There you go.
man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyways,
man.
guys.
Does anybody have any special plans for Christmas?
They're making me work.
Yeah, I hear that.
They make me cook all day.
I just did a 60 person contract today for a catering, and I got another 2 tomorrow. So work till it's all over, right? That's it.
Work
Just
like a
make sure
schmuck.
while you work.
Work hard, play harder.
Yeah,
Yep.
at some point I got to tell the wife I don't want to go to anybody else's house on these days. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
getting old, man. I want to stay home.
Right? I hear that.
And build a replicator.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. Yeah,
We can work on that.
Hey,
food turkey. They're gonna
Yeah,
get some food turkey.
Yeah,
I
we
got
could
a
put
direct
pure
for
turkey.
Maybe some strange gravy. Little extra sauce on the
schmuck.
side.
Make some replicate some schmucks.
Some lemonade.
a little bit of bubble tea.
They're gonna get a lemon cake, but we don't have any lemons. Now we're talking.
A giant lightsaber.
Oh yeah.
I want one.
Oh my.
Hershey bar.
A lightsaber with a Christmas hat on
I gotta get some covers of different colors so I can have a red one and a purple one too.
it.
So I wonder how far the power would go instead of water in snow. Yeah,
Oh, I don't know. I never find that out. I live in California.
but don't you have mountains up there?
Yeah.
Well, I guess they're not really mountains in California, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the big bear over there. You can't go there.
Yeah, you'd have snow up at Big Bear, wouldn't you? Or is that only one time a year or something like that?
I have no idea. I don't go there.
Yeah. I'll have to try that experiment then.
It's right.
California's kind of big, you know. It's really far from where I am.
I've always wanted to see the redwoods in Cali.
I
That
mean,
always
all
that
you need,
always thrilled me.
all you need is a wood chipper and a few blocks of ice, and you could make snow. It's not.
Nathan.
True.
Mm.
Say that again? Wow.
Nice.
Must
Not
have
that
been
you say that, Ben. Not the way you said it. Not with such enthusiasm.
He's all happy to say it. Just kidding, Ben.
They
Is
named
there a
the whole-
story behind this title, or should I ask?
like
Okay, there's your homework. It'll be on the next episode.
There you go.
Oh my.
I got
Alright, guys.
work to catch up on for all the YouTubians out there. There's a few
Well,
things. I
we
gotta
only
show.
got like Monday next week, Gerald, because Wednesday is Christmas.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
No.
we're just on Monday, man, and then that's it for the week. I'll be on with Joe tomorrow, and then Joe the next week too. But, yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, maybe
well-
after Christmas then.
Yeah,
Build up
we'll do a
some
show
anticipation.
next Friday. Next Friday, we'll do a show here for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right,
Maybe I'll do
guys.
the scooter thing Monday then, because I was supposed to do it tonight, but I was cooking all day, so maybe it's like I'll do it on Monday. I don't have anything then.
Well, I'm gonna have to get a little picture of Ben on a scooter. He keeps talking about he wants to ride it all over town, so I gotta see if I can't get a little picture of him, big head and everything. Yeah.
Ben, you make me want
Oh.
to send you. Go ahead. You make me want to send you one of those tiny scooters with a big seat so you can drive it around town. Yeah, like tiny, man.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
We'll put it at the bottom of the screen as Ben races by.
Puff of smoke.
All right, guys, been a great night. I want to thank everybody in the chat, man. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, chat
Yep,
was
the
great.
chat rocks.
All right, guys, have a great Christmas. Happy New Year. We'll see you next week.
See you guys later.
Hang on for a minute after, Mike.
Yeah, I'll
Yes.
stay on. If you want to talk to me off stream, I'll be on.
Yeah.
Okay, take care.
Cheers.
Right on.